Welcome to this live episode of the Empty Netters podcast here in Hoboken, New Jersey at Wicked Wolf Tavern, and we are so delighted to be brought to you by Labatt Blue Light. Without question, the number one beer to drink at any time, but specifically during the Stanley Cup playoffs.
It could be at a hockey game. It could be watching a hockey game. It could be having a hoedown with the fellas. No matter what, there is a little bit of Canadian kindness in every sip, just the way I like it, Dan.
It's a Canadian brewed beer. That means it is perfect for the game of hockey. It's perfect for feeling good, feeling kind, feeling happy. If you're enjoying this beer with your friends, sitting around the couch, sitting around the house, or at the bar, or at the game, watching this NHL Stanley Cup playoffs go down live in action, just like this pod, there is nothing that's going to have that crisp, refreshing taste like Labatt Blue Canadian Pilsner. Easily my favorite beer and the greatest podcast sponsor around. Get on board.
Get on board now.
All right, well, we are here at the Wicked Wolf Tavern in Hoboken, New Jersey, getting geared up for this New Jersey Devils game. Game 5. Tough beat on Tuesday, dude.
Bad.
We're going to get into that series. We're going to talk all about it when we get there. That's going to be at the end of the show, so we get close to when we are getting ready for puck drop for Game 5. So now we're going to get into some of these other series. Dude, insane week in the playoffs.
Insane, I mean, as it always is, bro, but it is insane week.
It has been a crazy playoffs here, but round 2 is filled with complete anarchy. And these games are all going way different than we thought they would, way different than we assumed. Shit is just going nuts. Shit is hitting the fan. Let's get right into a game that had a lot of action.
Dude, I'll say this, man. My BetMGM statement has not been good in round 2. Just about everything I felt was going to happen has not happened. With the exception of Spunk Stars, which we'll get to, but that one is completely on script so far. But we want to start with Vegas Oilers. The flip-flop continues, dude. We put on the clip last week that every fucking game, I'm positive one team is going to win the series.
This series has been so mental because it genuinely looks like every other game, one team has completely grabbed the horns of this series and the way it's going. And then the next game happens, and it's the complete opposite. So this game, we go in. Knights had an emphatic win in Game 3, so they come into Game 4, and the Oilers beat the piss out of them. And it is now all tied up 2-2, and there was mayhem in this game, too.
Yes, but before we even get to that, which we have to get to, can I tell you why this was such a massive win for the Oilers?
Please.
Even beyond just tying the series, you don't want to go down 3-1.
I'm begging you to tell me.
They win 4-1. They went 1 for 6 on the power play last night. And then here are the goal scorers. Bukestad, Bouchard, Ekholm, RNH. McDavid had 2 assists, Draisaitl had an apple too, all good.
Yep.
But to get 4 goals without either of those boys being on the score sheet and getting the monkey off RNH's back, dude, Connor McDavid had a fucking wet dream Tuesday night before the game that was less erotic than that stat sheet for him. If I promised him he could get a 4-1 win without him or Draisaitl scoring and RNH gets on the board and they suck on the power play but they tuck 4 anyway, literally his dick was hard in the fucking locker room when he got off.
I love that rant. I think RNH getting the monkey off the back is huge. But, dude, I don't really care that they didn't score because McDavid 2 assists, Draisaitl 1 assist. Like, they're on the score sheet, dude. Like, they don't need to score every game.
They had to before.
No. Those guys are huge assist guys. As long as they're creating plays, they're going to be winning games, and that is what they did. I hear what you're saying. I don't think it's that big of a deal. I think the bigger deal, you touched on this last episode, Aiden Hill getting lit up like the dashboard of a 1995 Toyota Camry is a big problem. Like you said, the goalie debacle for that team is interesting, and it's going to come down to like, all right, shit, is Hill the guy or is he not going to play well? And he didn't look great in that game. You know, like you go down pretty big, pretty early, and that is a concern for the Vegas Knights. And dude, here's one of my big things. Evan Bouchard continues to look insane.
Yeah.
Absolutely
Yeah.
insane. This guy is well into double digits on the stat sheet in these playoffs.
Is he really? What's he at?
He's
Do you know?
well into double digits, dude. I think. Look that up for
I
me
think
right now.
the league leaders are at like 15. Like I think Hintz and Draisaitl are like at 15.
I think Bouchard has 14 or 15 points in these playoffs alone.
That's fucking crazy, dude.
And I'm telling you this, dude. This guy had 40 points in the regular season. That's a really solid season.
Yeah, dude. Draisaitl 18, McDavid 17, Matty Tkachuk 16, Hintz 15, Bouchard 15.
15, I said.
Like literally tied for fourth, and 1, 2, 3 of the top 4 guys are on the Oilers.
That's what I'm saying, dude. Bouchard has completely
fucking kidding me.
Stepped up his game to a totally next level element here. He had 40 points in the regular season, which is a very good, respectable season for a defenseman.
Yeah.
But dude, you've got 15 points in round 2 as a D-man. You are blowing every other defenseman out of the water. He's all over the place. He's scoring huge goals. He scored a big goal last night.
That's a great question.
He's
Where's the next defenseman?
Monster player. I bet it's fucking Brandon Montour.
No, you know who it is, dude. Morgan Riley.
Oh, yeah, Morgan. Morgan's dominating. But that is big stuff, dude. It's like really impressive to see. But
okay,
here's what I really wanted to talk about.
I want to go on goalies, but are we going to get off goalies, or can we talk about that now?
You can talk about goalies if you want.
Okay, so
if you even think about veering off of goalies, though, and interrupting me,
I will not.
You.
Skinner continues his Jekyll and Hyde playoff.
Yeah, 100%.
But the good news, I guess, if you're Edmonton is... Yeah, but it's your guy. You're Skinner's team, right? Yep. So, like, he can Jekyll and Hyde his fucking way all he wants down to the fucking candy shop, but he's the goalie. End of discussion. Aiden Hill, and dude, those goals weren't that bad, but, like, just like Aiden Hill gets 4 popped on him, right? And LB, we don't know still. Cassidy was like, we got to get back to Vegas and see what the doctors say.
Yeah.
And if LB's good, he's playing. Yeah. All good. Here's my question to you, dude, and I'm being dead ass right now. Are you at all surprised that Johnny Quick wasn't that good for the Kings this year? Let me just get this thought out. He wasn't that good for the Kings this year, right? So my point is, if you're Vegas, it's not like you didn't see what he was doing this year. It's not like you thought he was still disgusting quick when you traded for him. So what you knew as a fact, dude, if you were the Vegas Golden Knights, what you knew as a fact is Johnny Quick has lost his fastball for sure, but maybe he can go to that gear in the playoffs. That's why you traded for him.
100%.
So when he wasn't that good in the regular season, I'm kind of like, yeah, but you knew this. And by the way, the Wild got burned on being like, maybe Flowers got that playoff magic, and he fucking did not. But so I'm not saying it's automatically going to work. But when you lose LB, didn't you trade for Johnny Quick just on the premise that he could elevate in the playoffs?
For this exact reason, dude. Yeah. And you just got to wonder, like, when you've got no options, isn't it worth giving it a shake? Who's going to be mad at you in the Vegas fan base for starting Jonathan Quick, a 2-time Stanley Cup winner, over Aiden Hill? No disrespect to Aiden Hill. Totally fine, good goaltender. But you've got Johnny Quick. I feel like you did go out and make this trade for this exact reason. It feels very, very weird. That feels like maybe, Chris, one of those things. Maybe there's an injury that we don't know about.
Agree, but then... I don't know why he would have dressed as the backup, though. Like, you just don't even dress him.
Yeah, well, I mean, the Boston Bruins dressed and started Linus Ullmark
and blew their whole season.
Playoffs.
Dude, straight up for me, straight up, if LB, because the LB choice has been proven right, that's fine. Quick was inconsistent. You went with a guy that got you some wins. If LB can't go in Game 5, I start Jonathan Quick over Aiden Hill. And I don't even think twice about it.
I agree. I completely agree.
He's a fucking Conn Smythe winner, I'm pretty sure. I might have pulled that out of my ass, but I'm pretty sure he won one of those.
It's a good thing to keep an eye on. All right, so in this game, man, this game for me, like you said, flipped the script, felt like a complete change from Game 3. Vegas seemed to lose every single puck battle on the ice. Edmonton was all over every single loose puck. It was just a monster game. And what really is sketchy is, like you said, they held the Oilers to 1 for 7 on the power play.
6, I think.
I think it was 1 for 7.
I'll check.
I believe, first of all, taking 7 penalties in a game is so unacceptable.
Especially after what we've said. Like, how many times we talk about this? But it's like, just don't hook them. There's a better chance they score on the power play than there is that you just give up the fucking 3-on-1.
So the fact that you lucked out and held them to 1 for 7 and you still lost 4-1 is just like
6, yeah, or 7, yeah,
an unacceptable stat line. And here's my other one, dude. Vegas in Game 1 went 2 for 4 on the power play.
Yeah.
Since then, they've gone 0 for 3, 0 for 4, and 0 for 3.
That's going to hurt you.
You were 0 for 10.
That's
going
gonna
to
hurt you.
10 power plays. You cannot do that and expect to win against this Edmonton team that hurts you on the power play this severely. And then especially you hold them to 1 for 7 in this last game and you still get shellacked.
Yeah.
4-1. It's like that was a bad game for Vegas. And there's, what's interesting is part of me is like, well, if you go 0 for 3 again on the power play, might as well lose that game. Fix it and then win when you're scoring on it. But dude, to lose the game where you hold Edmonton's power play 1 for 7, it's a kick in the dick. That hurts so bad.
I literally cannot believe it took 7 penalties. That is so insane. But dude, you're 100% right. The Vegas power play wasn't that good this year. It was middling, and I don't need it to be Edmonton power play. I just need it to be middling if you want to win. And I actually don't think this loss on paper is that bad. It's Edmonton at home, backs against the wall. You don't think you're going to take 2 in Edmonton. You already stole 1 there. You have home ice back. Yeah. Like, I think Vegas is fine being like, obviously you always want to step on throats in the playoffs, but I think Vegas is fine being like, yeah, whatever, dude, best of 3 with 2 at home. But you're right, that is going to burn you eventually.
100%.
Because the only reason they won game 1 is because they hung on the power play. Edmonton got 2, but they got 2 as well, and it was all good. But if Edmonton power play snaps back to what it has been, and you're 0 for daddy forever, then this is done, dude.
You're in big trouble.
Yeah.
You're in big trouble.
Or stop taking penalties.
All right, let's get into the sussy talk of this
Speaking
game.
of penalties.
So first, we got a in-game sussy. Alex Pietrangelo, end of the game, comes down and just Paul Bunyan's Leon Draisaitl in the arm, close to his neck. Wild play, gets tossed from the game. McDavid comes in, defending his boy, fights Pietrangelo. Now we had McDavid talking after the game, talking about how that is a clear non-hockey play. There's intent to injure there. He should get suspended. There's a hearing today. I don't even know if we've heard about it. We can pop on Twitter and see what's up. But Pietrangelo is having that hearing. We're going to see what happens. I'm imagining at least a one-game sussy. But where do you stand on this?
Okay, I think it was crazy because it's way late. And it's way high, right? It's like up on the arm, and it's like...
dude, it's a psycho play.
It's a psycho play.
It's so... There's no... McDavid's right. There is zero hockey play in that situation.
We were having a discussion earlier where... Because you had said correctly, there needs to be consequences for that if you do that. If you're Alex Pietrangelo and you do that, there are consequences. And... I'm like, yeah, you got tossed. That's the consequence. You get tossed. Because my knee jerk was like, toss him for sure. If he did in the first period, tossed. See you later. But I don't think I sussy him. But the more I thought about it, I asked you this, I was like, is this worse than Makar? And to me, they're both equally late. Makar had at least, believe him or not, but he had at least the benefit of the doubt of him being like, I thought it was in still. Like, Pietrangelo like, he watches Draisaitl shoot a backhand and miss, and just continues to come in. So it's just as late as Makar. He has no benefit of the doubt. Yep. And it's a ridiculous hack. So I think if you said Makar's was more violent, which it was, and obviously McCann is conked, and Draisaitl's fucking fine. He probably has a bruise on his fucking tricep. Yeah. So Makar's was more violent, but I just think if you sussied Makar, it is really hard for me to look at this play and be like, I don't suspend that guy.
I completely agree.
I don't want him to get suspended for this, but I think you've set a precedent now.
I said it was like, listen, man, if Draisaitl's going to be out here acting like he's hurt or was scared for his life in that play, you're full of shit.
Yep.
You're fine. It's not a hard swing. There's no malicious, evil intent in that swing. However, dude, you are not a 10-year-old boy, Alex Pietrangelo. Dude, that is, dude, in an NHL game for an alternate captain level player to come in and fucking baseball bat Leon Draisaitl in the face. I don't care how hard it is. Dude. It's just such a crazy wires cross moment. It is so mental. You cannot do that.
I can't believe you said that.
It absolutely has to be a pee-pee whack because if you don't sussy him, you're just letting a guy get away with being a complete lunatic menace on the ice. So it is a precedent thing. There's been so many calls these playoffs that are how was that not a penalty? Let alone, when Sam Bennett is out here cross-checking Michael Bunting in the throat, and then breaking his back on the ice, and doesn't even get a penalty. You're like,
he got one. He got the first one. Bunting, Bennett got the first one, but not the second, and then he got nothing for fucking ending Matty Nyes' playoffs.
There is these things are crazy, but
dude,
this
no,
Pietrangelo one
I have to say this, Dan.
Ridiculous.
We obviously, as everyone who's ever listened to a fucking podcast before, know that Dan and I do some pre-pro and talk about what we're gonna say, but some things we keep to ourselves because I like to spring it on him. Dude, I wrote down. I didn't tell you. I wrote down. I wish Pietrangelo hit him. I wish he came through and drilled him. Because to me, same penalty, probably chossed and sussied, but that reeks of like a, come on, boys. Like, he stepped the line, but like that was to get the boys going if he had just late hit him. The slash like that, I literally wrote down, felt like when you let your little brother tie the game at 9-9 just so you know you can throat rip him to win 10-9, and then he comes through and breaks his stick over your sternum, and then I'm crying, he's crying, fucking mom's crying, dad's fucking screaming as we go to the hospital. It's chaos in the streets, and that's literally, he looks like a brat. He looks like a little brat who just lost to his big brother, and I'm like, stop slashing Draisaitl.
It's such a bad look, dude, so it's gotta be a sussy. And what's interesting, dude, is it'll just cancel out the other one we got to talk about, Darnell Nurse. Darnell Nurse gets in a fight with Nick Hague at the end of that game. It's an instigator call with 5 minutes left in regulation. It's in the rule book for the NHL, so he's an auto
No choice. To be clear. Yep. No choice. You're suspended.
Auto one-game sussy. Jay Woodcroft gets a fucking slap on the wrist of $10,000. So,
which doesn't feel good, buddy. I've never even seen 10 grand.
It's a tough thing for Pietrangelo now, especially because you were about to head into Game 5 with Edmonton missing one of their top 4 defensemen, and you guys fully stacked, and now you're both missing one of your top 4 defensemen.
And Nurse he is 9 seconds minutes per game behind McDavid for most on the ice on the Oilers. So it's not like you're whatever. It's fine. You just lost 24 minutes of legitimate blue line ice time.
So moral of the story here is I imagine Pietrangelo is going to be one game. I think 3 would be insane.
Oh God, dude! If it's more than 1, I will actually be upset.
2, I wouldn't be that because it's fucking
little
crazy.
Brat. You little brat.
You're the little brat sussy, dude. Because that would be like, all right, I get it, but let's call it 1. Let's live under the assumption that it's 1. So we're going to have these 2 defensemen canceled out for Game 5. And end of the day, dude, moral of the story is don't instigate a fight with 5 minutes left in the game, and don't go
be a brat.
Don't go full cave troll and start swinging sticks around.
Wouldn't you say, though, on the Nurse one, because like I just said, it's no choice if you get that penalty. No choice. You have to be suspended per the rules. But Nurse's comments, and you watched the replay, Nurse is like, dude, Hague had his gloves off first. He threw 8 punches before I threw a punch. It's a fucking 2 willing fighters. How am I getting an instigator on this?
He instigated it. That's how.
I think so, too, but I hear his counter. Like, I'm kind of surprised. I think I would have gone, ooh, that could have been instigator. But I was like, I think that was not that big a deal.
His counter is like, Nick fought me too. But I'm like, yeah, but dude, you started it. Like, it's not. His whole stance is that a fight happened and Nick Hague participated. But I'm like, dude, but you started. It wouldn't have happened without you.
This is the tale of the bully and the brat, dude. We have a bully and a brat, and they're both being penalized.
Yeah.
Good.
It's crazy. All right, let's move on to the next game of the series here, or the playoffs, rather. All right, on to the boys who live to fight another day, dude.
The boys who lived.
Unbelievable stuff. The Toronto Maple Leafs get a win against the Florida Panthers, 2-1. Really, really gutsy win.
And talk about another dream scoreline. Nylander, Marner, like guys where you were like, come on, boys.
Really, really big, really important. The boys move on. We're going to go back to Toronto, which is very, very huge. Mm-hmm. Forcing a Game 5. We'll see what can happen here. But what did you see in this game?
First thing I wanted to say is I had said last ep, if Samsonov can't go, you are fucked. And little rookie Joey Woll came in there, dude, and he fucking played great. And everybody believes in that kid. Keith, he's the goalie of the future. He's been tabbed that. You know, he's the Swayman in Toronto. Like, everyone believes he's the guy. He came in, and Keith believes the team believed in him. They clearly did. He played awesome. I actually checked his stats this past season, Dan, which I didn't realize. He played 7 games this year. He went 6-1 with a .932 save percentage and a 2.16 goals against, which is fucking fantastic.
Fantastic.
And I think we just saw in the Boston series, Lyon comes out, Bob comes in, change the complexion of the series. So a hot goalie can come in and change shit. And every game in this series has been a one-goal game if you ignore the empty netter, which counts in game one. They've all been one-goal series. So really, dude, you're like one save away from Toronto like leading this series. And I know they have a big, by the way, dude, Joey Wall has a sick nickname, ripe for nicknames if you are a goalie and your last name is Woll.
Yeah.
But if Joey Woll turns into Joey Wall, it's a big mountain to climb, but like that could change the fucking whole complexion of the series.
I'm pretty sure it's pronounced Wall anyway.
So he's already Wall, dude.
So
good for him.
He's already halfway there. Listen, dude, he's got great stats in 7 games. He played fantastic last night. I will say, however, you've got a rookie goaltender who has minimal, as in like 1 period of playoff hockey experience. You've got to do better than 25 shots on net if you're the Florida Panthers. Like, that is such a fucking shit performance by the Panthers. You've got a chance to absolutely eviscerate this team, rip their hearts out, destroy an entire city, and you put out that performance. And my thing with this is, dude, Florida's the Rats, right? They are so goddamn impressive. They've been so fun to watch, as devastating as it was Series 1 for me.
Yep.
But they've been an absolute blast. And they play such a gritty, gnarly game. And then in this game, you got out hit by Toronto, which is
shocking,
unacceptable. Toronto had triple the block shots that you did. Like, Toronto put it all out on the line and got a very gutsy, awesome win in this game. And I just don't know how at home with this rookie goaltender, you don't come out there and throw every single puck in your vicinity on net, dude.
Yeah.
If I were a coach and there's a rookie goaltender, I would be like, dude,
shoot.
Don't get cute. Pepper this goaltender.
Yep.
Throw everything on the cage. And when you look at the 21 or so block shots by Toronto, you know, you kind of did. They just kind of, they got you there with how they were standing up in front of shots. But it's just not a good performance from Florida. I would say it's their first bad performance of this series. The one good thing I will say for them, or by Florida, the one good thing I'll say for Florida is Bob looked great again. Bob let in 2 goals. One was a seeing eye point shot from Mitch Marner. The other was a very kind of lucky bouncing puck from Nylander. He had 2 monster saves on breakaways for Jonathan Tavares. And that goes to show, you're right, Mitch and Willie get on the score sheet. But you've got tons of the big boys who are still quiet as hell.
Yep.
No assists, no nothing for Matthews, Riley, Tavares. So if you're Florida, you're not shaking. But if you're Toronto, you're headed back to Toronto.
Yep.
And you've got a great opportunity here to, like, totally change the narrative of this series.
Yes.
Totally.
Okay, man, you touched on such great things. Bob, still playing great. I think if you're Florida, you aren't, you believe, like you said, it's a rookie goalie. Actually, here's a quick question for you. If Sammy can go Game 5, is he playing? Or are you sticking with the Wall?
I think you stick with Wall. He just had a 24 of 25 shot save performance. Got you the first win of the series. It's the goalie discussions, and sorry, New Jersey, we're going to get into this, but like, they're always so complicated, but I'm a huge believer in ride with the hot hand as long as the hand is hot. And that's a hot hand from Wall. Like, you can't argue that. You have to play him.
I agree. I think I would go Wall. Bob has been really good. If you're the Panthers, you go like this. It's a rookie goalie. We can get him. Yeah. Even if they go Sammy, you're like, we've got him already. We can get him. If you're Toronto, you go, well, dude, all these games are like 2-1, 3-2. We have the firepower to win a 3-2 game if we're getting goalie play. Yeah. Unfortunately, due to your own wounds, there is no room for error. Secret Service, consequences. You are fucked, dude. You are out of the playoffs, bro. Like, I'm sorry. So, like, that's what you're up against. Yeah. But I think you probably feel okay. Like, we talked before. If you steal this one, you go home, you win in Toronto, win on home ice one fucking time. Now you got a stew going, and it's something special. Here's what I wanted to say to you about the shots. You chirped the Panthers for shots. Toronto had 25 again, and we just made fun of them for this,
25
right?
25 to 25, yeah.
But caveat, Dan, because I wrote this down because I wanted to give them credit. Marner 3, Nylander 4, Matthews 4, Chodrags 5. That's 16 of your 25 shots from the big boys. So fucking Hat tip, dude. Thank you. Good job. I said they needed 24 collectively, and they probably need 20, but I'm like, shoot the puck, dude.
Shoot the puck.
But what I don't love is 6 shots in the first period, 4 shots in the third period. Boys, your backs are against the fucking wall. And what rattles me about Toronto is I don't think they have looked, and I should just accept this at this point, dude, but they haven't looked better than Florida once all series. Okay. And I'm like, okay, you're just not then. I don't know why I keep thinking they're going to wake up and go, boys, we got over the hump, and this, what is the fucking Brady, well, it's not Tom Brady quote, he's quoting the motivational speech, but like, I didn't come this far to only come this far. Yeah. I'm waiting for Toronto to wake up and go, did we get out of the first round just to do this? And they just don't do it ever, dude. Every game, they just don't do it.
Yeah, this feels slightly reminiscent to me of, I think it was 2013 when the Bees and the Rangers played. Bees were up 3-0.
Yep.
Rangers, Chris Kreider scores an OT winner. They get their win, and then they get swept out.
I remember
of the
that.
playoffs.
Yep.
Just by how these 4 games have gone in Toronto, that was a huge win. Toronto fans, we say it all the time. I love you guys, and I love this team. I love the city. I'm really happy that they got that win. But we're now looking at, did that win calm your nerves, and we're going to come into Game 5, and you guys are going to slap Florida in the face at home and win emphatically? Or is it just going to be another game of what we've seen in through 4? And again, no disrespect, but you did not beat Florida in that game. It wasn't a emphatic win. I think the Nylander goal was soft. I think it was pretty lucky. I think the Marner goal was even kind of like, ooh, thank God that one stuck.
Florida was all over them in the third. The whole period.
So it's really a big question for me on Game 5, and I feel like that's like a cop-out stance. Like, Dan, have a point, have a stance. But I think my point is Game 5 is going to be very telling. Either we're going to see them get gentlemen swept because Florida is just straight up, plain and simple, the better team, or Game 4 win was a big-time wake-up call situation for Toronto. So I'm putting so much stock in this next game.
Because, dude, I don't...
And I'll go as far to say, because, like, I would hear the arguments of, yeah, well, no shit, Dan. Either they're going to get eliminated or it's a series. But, dude, if they squeak out another win, I would still be like, this Florida's easily winning this.
I completely agree, because I don't think you can win 4 dogfights in a row. That's my biggest thing. It's too much puck luck, dude. We've been in these games. You can't be battling tooth and fucking nail to try to win 2-1, 4 in a row. You need a comfortable 7-1 dick slap to fucking tomorrow. You got to win these games. You can't fight like this. Here's a question for you. Florida, since fucking Game 1 against Boston, has been playing with house money. Matty Tkachuk said it a million times. No one on earth has expected them to win a fucking game this playoffs. They're loose. They're free. It's all good. No, there's no pressure on them. Even fucking Game 7 against Boston, they were like, yeah, whatever, dude. Like, if we lose this game, we made it to Game 7 against the best team of all time. If they lose Game 5 in Toronto, and they come home for Game 6, knowing if they lose that game, they have to go back to the fucking hostile crowd in Toronto for Game 7. That is terrifying after being up 3-0. If they lose Game 5 in Toronto, Game 6 in Florida will be the first time all playoffs that the Panthers have felt pressure.
Yes,
truly,
that's true.
This is the first time you're like, oh, fuck.
Yep, absolutely.
And if I'm Toronto, I am hammering that into the skulls of every player. Win Game 5 here, and for the first time, the buttholes have tightened in Florida.
Before I hit my last point, I want to respond to that and say this. Here's a take for you. I think if you go up 3-0 in a series, every single game from there on is pressure. That's at least how I would feel. Because I would be like this. We cannot lose. If you go up 3-0, you simply cannot lose.
Correct.
And every single game from there on, I would feel like...
a little bit more. I would say a little bit. I don't know that Game 4 is like pressure. You're like, let's do it, but you're like, whatever. But I agree with you, Game 5 already is like a little pressure. Yeah. And I think Game 6 at home, knowing Toronto's in Game 7, is like...
yeah.
So let's see how... if Toronto can get one, let's see how Florida plays with a tight butthole.
Agree. All right, and here's my last point. You mentioned him earlier. Matty Tkachuk, top 4 player in the NHL right now in points in the playoffs. He's got 5 assists in this series.
Hasn't scored.
3 of which came in Game 1. He hasn't scored. If I'm Paul Maurice, if I'm a Florida Panthers fan, I'm like, hey, dude, you gotta give us something here.
Yeah.
Like you said, every one of these games, with the exception of the empty netter, is a 1-goal game. You know, you're looking at 4 goals, 3 goals, 3 goals, 1 goal. I'm like, Matty,
come on
the fucking score sheet, buddy. Here we go.
And you're right. It's certainly 5 assists in 4 games is better than no points in 4 games, like you're seeing kind of from Robo and some of these other guys. But I'm like, you're right. I think if I'm on that Panthers team, I'm like, come on, dude. Yeah. Or just since you know these games are going to be ending by 3 or 2, you're like, just give us one, Matty. Give us one. And I think he will. I'd be shocked if he doesn't score soon.
Yeah.
But that's a good take. You want to talk some Spunk?
Yeah, dude, the Spunk is blocked up.
Spunk's blocked up. So
it's a mental thing. It's a mental thing, dude.
Happens
happens
to 3 out of 5 guys.
Shooting blanks.
So it's fine. Happens to all of us.
Happens to 60% of men.
Happens to all of us. Dallas even the series 2-2. Took home ice back with a 6-3 win.
Yeah. Oh my God! Thank
you.
Emily. She's more than a producer.
Tip, please. Money, please.
Money, please. Money, please.
So
we're blocked up.
They're blocked up. Still no Robo goal. Got an assist on the Pav goal, but still no Robo goal. Grubauer yanked at the end of the second. I said to you last ep, he's got a lot of miles.
Yeah, man,
and
that
yanked.
one feels so real.
But here's the thing, Dan. I, as you know, have been pretty critical of almost every yank so far. Like, I'm like, leave him in. I'm a very Vassy guy where I'm like, leave him in, dude. Shut the fuck up. For Grubauer, I'm like, dude, give him as much stretch as you can. It was fucking 6-1, dude, or whatever the fuck it was. Like, get him out. What was crazy to me is Martin Jones came in, and I was like, oh, we had that game on. We were at the bar, right? We had that game on. And I was like, oh, yeah, Martin Jones didn't give up any goals in the third. Good for him. And then I checked the stat sheet, and he made 2 saves. The Stars took 2 shots in the third period. Obviously, your foot's up the gas. You're up 6-1, but I was like, what, dude? Like, that is crazy to me. So, credit to him. And, dude, also, funny tangent. Domi got that empty netter, which counts.
Counts.
And if you saw the replay, he goes like this. I think he's a righty. He stick handles in and goes.
Wait, did you say that you're up 6-1? That was not the case. Dude, they made it close for a second.
Yeah, they made it 6-3, but it was 6-1 at the end of 2. Grubauer got pulled.
No, it was 5-3 at one point.
Oh, yeah, 5-3. Sorry, it's 5-1. Grubauer gets pulled. They make it 5-3, empty netter. Domi comes in and goes, with one hand on his stick, pushes it forward on his forehand, turns his wrist over and pushes it into the open net on his backhand. And on the stat sheet, it says, Domi, backhand goal. And I'm like, yes, respect, dude.
Respect, dude.
Boost those numbers up, dude.
It was.
That is pretty lit.
Listen, dude.
But my point is, this yank I am all for, dude. Get Grubauer as much rest as you can possibly get in a fucking blowout. Who gives a shit?
Yeah. Dude, I think, again, like I would say with the Knights here, this is the worst Seattle's looked all playoffs. I thought, with the exception of the third period, where they showed some spunk.
They always show spunk in the third.
They were super weak in the neutral zone in this game.
Yeah.
I think that they were getting really beat up in 5-on-5 play. 19 shots is so fucking bad. Like, that is just a horrendous display in an NHL playoff game.
Yep.
You cannot do that. It was just weak, dude. Grubauer looked weak. I thought his blocker looked horrible. The second goal was kind of a cheese job, but he just wasn't really in it at all. Dallas, that was a very Dallas Stars game.
Yeah.
2 for 3 on the power play. I thought that they were connecting well. Every one of their goals seemed to be a beautiful bang-bang play. Secondary and primary assists on seemingly every goal. Joe Pavelski continues to be the most elite
underrated
who has ever fucking
underrated.
It's just unbelievable. I thought they looked really quick. I thought they were very in sync. Like I said, if you're Dallas, I think that game feels great. If you're Ottinger, I think you feel great until the end there. Like, it's 19 shots and you give up 3 goals, dude. That's not good. And he looked really strong. But, dude, the thing you cling to if you're Seattle here, I think, is, dude, making that game 5-3, when you're getting lit up like that and you make that game 5-3 and you make Dallas sweat and then they get an empty netter, like, you feel strong about that finish to a bad game. So the fact that you only got 19 shots on net but you scored 3, you still feel like you're getting to Ottinger, so there's something to feel good about if you're Seattle heading into Game 5.
Okay, 3 things here. Dallas power play, you said 2 for 3 again. The Oilers are obviously the best in the league, still in the playoffs. After that 1 for 7 debacle they're down to a abysmal 45.45%. But, like, they were well over 50, which is obscene. But Dallas, second best in the league still of remaining teams on the power play, 34.29%, which is fucking moronic. They were fifth in the league in the regular season at 25%, so they're no slouch on the power play.
Yeah.
So you know it's dangerous. If you're Seattle, we said this about the Wild, you got to do something. Either fucking kill penalties better or stop taking penalties. But that power play for Dallas is such a weapon because it's deciding games and it gives them confidence, dude. It gets them rolling. If they get power play goals, you're rolling. It hasn't quite happened yet, but if Robo starts scoring on the power play, now Robo's going. And I'm like, just stop giving their greatest weapon the chance to hurt you, dude. Because, like, that's what's happening right now. So I would say that's really frustrating.
Absolutely.
Seattle, or go ahead.
No.
Seattle shots in the 4 games so far. Game 1, overtime, granted, but game 1, 44. Game 2, 27. Game 3, 25. Game 4, 19. Steady decline across the whole series. I don't know if Dallas, I haven't been that dialed. I don't know if Dallas is made a coaching change defensively, if they've switched up their forecheck. That's something I actually want to look into when we get out of here, maybe when we watch tonight. I'll check Twitter. But that is a massive issue, dude.
Yep.
Like, if this series, I had said, dude, you hope this is 2-2. I don't think Seattle's worried about winning in Dallas. This 2-2 after 4 is fine. That trend is not fine. If they had 35 shots, whatever, dude. We're fine. That is a problem. So Figure out a way to make if Dallas made an adjustment, adjust back on them. Do something, but that you got to do that. And then my last point that you brought up, Otter, dude. How similar does this feel to the Devils Game 3 win, but Vitek got popped, and you're like, we won! If I'm Dallas, I'm kind of like, they got 19 shots, and they scored 3 fucking times.
The difference to me is the quality of goal. No disrespect to Carolina. Carolina fans, calm the fuck down.
Yeah.
The quality of these 3 goals by Seattle were all, like, very strong goals. Like, they were tip-ins. They were dishes out front. And when they come at the end of a game like that, when you're winning 5-1, I don't think it's an excuse to be like this, we took our foot off the gas a little bit. But let's be honest, dude, that happens. You're in the middle of a Stanley Cup playoff series. You're tired. You're getting ground down. It makes sense that you're like, we're up 5-1, dude. I don't need to bust ass every shift here in the last 8 minutes.
But you definitely hang your hat on that if you're Seattle, right? Like, you go home and go, we got to Otter again.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
Fucking who cares, boys?
But I do think that there is a slight difference. I think it's a great comparison, but I think there is a slight difference there. My question for you before we move on to the next series, what do you think goes through the head of a guy like Robo right now when you're dealing with the fact that you are the star player, you're over a 100-point guy, and here you are continuing to struggle in these playoffs, and your team is in a tilt series tied 2-2, you need to get on the score sheet. How do you, like, mentally check out from that or check back in from that?
Dude, let me give you a little anecdote here. Apologies to everyone for the self-boost, but it's a cool story. 1 year in juniors, we made the playoffs, and there was a lot of great players on that team. I was about to say I was the best player on the team, but there was a lot of great players on that team. I just happened to have the most points that year. And so, anyone can make their own judgment.
It's just stats. It's math. It's math.
And we got into the playoffs, and I hadn't done shit. And I genuinely didn't think I was playing bad. I just had not contributed. And we got into a game in, like, the quarters or the semis, and my coach pulled me aside and goes, the best player does, he didn't say that, his words, not mine, the best player doesn't have to do everything all the time. Sometimes you can get picked up by the team, but then you got to step up when we really need you. And it kind of just got me out of my own head of, like, because I was like, dude, I can't even believe we're in this situation. We shouldn't even be here. I've not contributed at all. And I ended up scoring the OT winner in that game. And I don't know that I, like, actively played more loose or anything like that, but I just remember hearing him say that and being like, it gave me a sense of it's fine. Like, stop worrying about what I haven't done yet. Just do it now. Be the guy now. And no one will care that your boys picked you up to get here. Be the guy now. And I don't know what they're talking to Robo about, but if I'm anyone on that roster, on that coaching staff, I go, all good, baby. It's 2-2. Be the guy now.
Yeah, I think I love that. I love that anecdote. And I think it is that next shift mentality, right? It's like, dude, I'm an elite player. I don't care how I played on my last shift.
Sometimes Rupe Hint's got to pick you up, dude.
Yeah, like go get on the ice and have a great next
Be the guy now.
Have a great next shift, I think, is good shit. I like that.
We actually have a Spunk fan
Get in here.
in the building.
We're going to invite a Seattle fan. We got our buddy AJ, who showed up here in Hoboken.
This is our good friend, AJ Audino, lives in New York, came across the river to the Wicked Wolf in Hoboken.
And, dude, we just talked about the Seattle series, and coincidentally, we got a Spunk fan here.
Unfortunately, AJ had his heart ripped out of his body by the Seattle Supersonics, and then that hole was filled by the Seattle Spunk.
Well, I would say first, and then the Seahawks got ripped out again.
Yes.
And now,
Now he's a Spunk guy.
Exactly.
Well, first of all, AJ, welcome to the Empty Netters podcast.
What does he think about the new name
Dap me up,
for
please.
the Seattle Kraken? What does he think about the new name for the Seattle Kraken?
Do you like the name Spunk?
Yes.
Of course he does.
Because they have
Love
Spunk.
it.
How could you not like the name
Yeah,
Spunk?
sure,
They have
that's it.
Spunk.
Fucking
Yeah,
perfect
that's it.
name.
Yeah.
Okay, so AJ, talk to us a little bit about, because when AJ, this is actually be funny, when the Seattle team formed, one of the first things AJ texted us was, our biggest rival is the Boston Bruins. Fuck
That's
you
right.
guys. And
Still
I was
is.
like, the hell, dude?
Still is.
So, talk to
And
us
they
about,
also whacked us 3-0
Yeah,
in the
I know.
first showdown, and I was like, what the fuck?
Yep.
but what's it been like just having the hockey team there and
Yeah.
getting on board with that?
So, Seattle is a city that will love sports teams if they have a good story behind it, if they're good, whatever. So, Seattle has really gotten into the Kraken. My mom is now a big fan. So, if my mom was a big fan, they've taken over the city. So I would say, again, I don't know hockey that well. I'm on a hockey podcast, so,
Yeah.
There we are.
But, dude, it's been awesome. It's been really cool.
I've been mesmerized
Yeah.
by how fired up that rink looks.
Yeah.
Like that is like bucket list for me is get to that barn, the crack den.
We always talk about these 2 new expansion teams joining the league, and it's always a risk, right? And they pick the cities of Vegas and Seattle, both of whom go absolutely bonkers for
Yep.
sports teams, and
Yeah.
both of these barns are top 10 barns in the NHL in terms of just fans packing the shit out of them, going crazy for the team. So it's just a perfect fit. I
is.
absolutely love it.
Have you or your parents or your sisters been able to go to a game yet?
Yeah, so I went to a game last year.
Sick.
One of my best friends, Eric, who you guys know,
Love Eric.
was honorary Zamboni driver for the game, and it was electric.
Wait. Driver? Or
Well,
was this
sorry.
riding on?
No,
it?
he
was
does
right.
he does the Queen's wave.
Yeah,
He does the
exactly.
Queen's
Yeah,
wave
yeah.
in the
It
jump
was-
seat.
It was.
If they pulled the civilian out of the stands
Electric.
and then they drove the Zamboni, it'd be the most impressive thing of all time.
Eric would put one through the end boards,
Yeah,
dude.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I went to that game. It was great, and then my mom had never been to an NHL game before. I said,
Any NHL game.
her
whole
hockey
life.
game, her whole life. So I said, Michelle, go to a playoff game this year. So she went to Game 6 last series. They lost, but she was like, I'm in. So she's watched every game since. 2 reactions that she's had. Number 1, she's like, this is like a club in here. Crazy lights. Like,
Yeah,
she loved
Seattle.
it. And then also she was like, I didn't realize that they sub in and out so fast.
Yeah, oh,
like,
yeah.
it happens pretty quickly. So, she went to the game, loved it, and has watched every second since. So it's been
I
cool.
fucking love that.
You know what makes
Yeah.
me the most happy about that story? It's never too late to spunk for the first
That's
time.
right.
Some people think they missed a spunk.
That's
I'm not
right.
20 anymore.
Yeah, yeah,
I can't
yeah.
go spunking.
Yeah, yeah.
You can never. It's never too late to go
And I'll also
spunking.
say this, you never forget your first spunk.
You never.
This
forget.
is my mother, but yes.
Yeah.
correct. Thank you, boys. Yes.
But that is true. I also love that the Crack Den is a straight up club.
Dude,
Like, people are just
I'm
going
actually
nuts.
so the Vegas. I hear that story about Vegas a lot, which I've never been to, and I want to go to, and we will go to
Yeah, well,
this November.
Oh, 100%.
But I've heard that about Vegas. Like, oh, dude, it's a fucking show in there, which makes perfect sense. I've seen the videos. It makes perfect sense. I'm surprised that Seattle puts on that performance too, but I love it.
So what she said is that before the game, the entire ice is like something projects onto the ice like a big TV screen. Like that.
Yep.
She's like, that was amazing. The lights, the music.
Did she go early?
What's that?
Did she go early?
An hour early because you told her, and she went an hour early.
Do not miss the show.
Yeah, no, it was great. It was great.
Electric.
So we got Game 6.
Game 6 coming up. What? Game 5 was, Game 5 coming
Game
up.
5 tonight. Yep.
Yeah. So have you, dude? Well, it's tough for you, buddy, because you're an East Coaster now, and those 10
stay
p.m.
up till
games
1
get
a.m.
difficult,
every
dude.
night.
Yeah. Playoffs
Yeah.
aren't easy, bro.
Oh man, it's great though. It's worth it. But
Yep.
it's
It
great.
is absolutely savage.
How do you feel about the series?
Yeah. So I did a little research actually.
I love it.
Yeah. So what I
Hockey
find
guy. Hockey
what I
guy
find
AJ.
pretty cool is the balance that the Kraken have, right? So 16 different Kraken players have scored in these 10 games, which is
we were just talking about
such
this.
a cool.
We just
Yeah.
a couple episodes
The other
ago, we
day,
went on
Dan
a
was like,
huge
"They're balanced
rant.
as fuck,
They're
dude."
like the most
Yeah.
balanced team.
So like that's been pretty cool to see. There's no star. I think too that whoever wins this game, I think is going to win the series tonight. I mean,
Oh shit!
Wow,
Okay.
so you're calling tonight a must-win.
I think so.
Yeah.
Because the reason I say this is because
Shit.
last series, right, the Dallas Stars did the same thing. They were down 2-1, then went 3 games in a row. So
Yep.
they have momentum. I'm worried about that.
yeah.
Okay. For a little peace of mind,
Yeah.
before this series started, I put on Twitter that it was going to go like this: Seattle, Dallas, Seattle, Dallas, Dallas, Seattle, Seattle. And we're exactly on script so
We
far.
are, yeah.
So if Dallas wins tonight, don't worry,
Okay,
because
I
I
will
still
say-
have
I'll
Spunk
take
in
that.
7.
Okay,
If
that-
Dallas wins tonight, and this is like a truly, as educated as I can be of giving an estimation,
Yeah.
I have a lot of confidence in Seattle back at home in Game
6.
Yep.
And then if there is any team left in the playoffs who I don't think gives a flying fuck about home ice in a Game 7,
Yeah.
it's Seattle. So
That's fair.
I think that your
Yeah.
path makes perfect sense.
It's in
I'm
play.
not ruling I think Seattle is going to have a big bounce back game tonight, but if they do lose, I'm not worried. There's still Spunk in the
But it would be sick to win tonight.
I have a question for you guys. In order for us to win, who do you think our MVP has to be? Our goal, obviously, goalie is really important.
So
but, like,
here's,
non-goalie player,
I want you to answer too, but
Yeah.
okay. Well, I'll give you an answer about that, but I do think this, AJ. Grubauer's been good. He was, got pulled the other night. Otter's been not the Dallas goalie hasn't been that good yet, or he was good in Game 2 or whatever it was. I did say I think if Seattle's going to win this series, Grubauer, the goalie, has to genuinely steal one game. And right now, every game Seattle's won, they've just it's been like an easy win, not an easy win, but they've just scored a lot of goals. And I think there's going to be one game in this series where it's like 2-1, and Grubauer just plays sick, and that hasn't happened yet. So I'm kind of like, I still am waiting on that big Grubauer game. If you need an MVP, I think I'll go McCann, but not on I need him to have 4 points night. I just need McCann. He's been out, dude. If he has a good game where he gets one goal even, but just is fucking fully back, and the boys are like, come on, McCann's back, let's fucking go. I think he can do as much on that front, on the emotional front.
Yeah.
So he can be their spiritual leader. Give me one goal and a lot of energy, and I think McCann could be the motivation they need.
I think you said it. I think it's Groovy.
Yeah.
I think this team is such a great example of it's very similar to those Kings teams in 2012, 2014, where they're so balanced, dude. I think everyone needs to contribute. Everyone needs to show up. But at the end of the day, if Grubauer doesn't lock down at least a couple of times, you're not going to win. And I think he has that in him, clearly.
Me too.
So for me, if they're going to win this series, Grubauer needs to, like you said,
just
steal
one.
at least one, but then also just be solid in the rest.
I think they can Spunk one game and then Grubauer one game, and then that's 4. We did it.
I think that's true.
On to
Yeah,
the next, yeah.
that's 4.
Yep.
You got any other fun tidbits for us?
Yeah, so the other thing that's interesting is, not the other thing, but another interesting tidbit, that we are a quick strike offense. So,
Yeah, dude, you are.
We have scored a league-high 44 goals this season within 5 seconds of a turnover. And in the
Oh, wow.
playoffs,
Sick
we scored
stat.
6 goals off of turnovers within 5 seconds. So, turnover, quick score, that kind of thing. That's why I think we've been able to come back in games.
Yeah.
Because, we're down, whatever, quick turnover. So, to me, it's we press pretty heavy. Turnover, score,
And that's the playoffs too.
Yeah.
People start gripping their stick a little tight, and they don't get it in the way they wanted. It gets blocked, and you're down their throat so fast.
Yeah.
And games turn like that. Games turn like that in the
You
playoffs.
look at that stat, five seconds after a turnover, that's pucks on net mentality.
Fuck yeah, it is.
And when you looked at last game, we talked about before you hopped on, 19 shots and you lose 6-3. Not really a coincidence there. So
right.
I think they get back to that game of just getting the puck in your stick, throwing it on the cage, you're going to start finding some goals, finding some more wins here.
I'm excited. Game 6, either way, is going to be a zoo up there, dude.
Oh, in Seattle? I know. I might fly back for
Do it, dude. I'm coming with you,
I'll
bro.
tell you what, if they win tonight
Yeah.
and they go up and we got a chance at heading to the Western Conference Finals in Seattle, we're all going.
And
My face right now, I'm just like, yes.
No, we're all going.
Absolutely
Yes.
yes.
We're going to the crack
Fucking
den.
electric.
Yeah, you guys would love it.
Oh, dude, I gotta
I know
go
we
there
will.
so bad. I'm so excited, and I want. Do you guys have a thing? Do you know if there's like, how like Vegas does like the fucking siren before the game? Is there like a thing that you guys
seen
do?
our mascot?
Dude, Dan loves your mascot.
Who we do?
Who we do?
He's a fucking lunatic.
He's a
I'm
troll, dude.
undecided. I don't know.
Dude, we went to All-Star Weekend.
I don't know.
And we were walking around the concourse,
Dude,
and I
yeah,
ran
yeah.
into Bowie. It was the best moment of my life.
And you know what else? I'm actually just remembering
Bowie's
this.
a dirty boy. Dude.
I'm actually just remembering this. The Stars mascot, when at the All-Star game, came up. We were down like in the press area, and there's a lot of people down there that we know. Like they work for the Kings or whatever. So I'm talking to Dan, and someone comes up and taps me on the shoulder, and I turn around. I think it's like someone that works for the Kings PR, and I look this way, and there's no one there, and I look this way, and it's the Dallas Stars mascot, and he's like scares me, and I was like, oh wow, I got bullied by the Dallas Stars, and he does like a fake belly laugh, and then he puts up a high five, being like all good, and I go to high five, and he goes, phoom, and I just catch air, dude.
It was the biggest cucking I've ever seen in my life.
And I was like,
dude.
So, dude, I am actually just realizing
Dallas.
this, but I have never.
You hate the Stars?
I
Yeah.
now fucking
the
hate the
worst.
Dallas Stars.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Fuck you, dude.
That's right.
I hope Bowie puts you in a fucking locker,
yeah.
dude, and this is over in 6.
Well, I have a question. So, do mascots ever fight on the ice? Like, is that a
Dude,
thing?
there was a full mascot brawl at All-Star Weekend.
All-Star Weekend.
Yeah.
All right.
And dude, we've talked
because
about
Bowie,
this
I wanna see-
so many times. We are petitioning and campaigning for a mascot Royal Rumble. Tell me you wouldn't fucking watch it.
I want it to be like
Put
WWE.
them in a ring.
I would pay money.
Yeah,
Me too.
100%.
I think
Everyone's
families.
talking about All-Star Weekend, like all the little gimmicks that they do.
Yeah.
Put all of the mascots in a ring and let them fight to the death.
I think families would bring their kids to games more if part of the NHL experience was the mascots have like a celebrity death match type fight of chaos.
And also, if you could bet on that too.
Yeah, dude.
Take all my money. Take all of it.
Take all of it, dude.
Yeah.
Incredible.
All right, AJ. Been an absolute pleasure.
Great.
It's great to have a Kraken fan here with us.
Yeah,
And let's
go
just say
Kraken.
this. Go Kraken tonight, because if they win, we're going to Seattle.
Spunk on.
Boom.
Can you think about this? You don't have to do this in real time, but just think about this for us. We're looking for like a spunk on type rallying cry that involves spunk.
Okay.
Fear the spunk. Spread the spunk. We don't know what it is yet. We're
Think about it.
crowdsourcing. Spread the spunk.
Yeah.
Shoot the spunk.
Sure.
Think
I'll
about
text
it.
my my
Yeah.
friend group
Yeah.
and see what we come
And
up
then
with.
we'll get a good answer.
Yeah. I like it.
All right.
Cool.
Dude.
All right. Go Kraken.
Go Kraken.
Always a pleasure.
Go Crack. I love it.
All right.
Spunk,
Amazing.
Spunk.
Go.
Okay. Now the big one. We're here, baby. Drum roll, please. Canes, Devils. And Dan, we were at Game 4, and I can't believe they went with VTech. That is almost literally all I have to say about this series. Almost.
Dude, things are bleak in New Jersey. It was a brutal game for shellacked 6-1.
And I
After getting that 1-0.
can't believe they went with VTech.
I cannot believe it. It is so brutal. It looks like such a bad decision by Lindy Ruff. And I'll also say this, Chris. Dude, I don't want to get murdered in here because we're at a Devil's Bar. We're in New Jersey. I love you guys. We're so happy to be here. The energy in the Prudential Center was putrid.
And we talked to multiple people
It was
who had been
so
at Game
pathetic.
7 and at Game 3, and they said it was fucking wild in there.
It was insane. And let me also say this. I'm going to say this one quietly because I don't want Devils fans to hear me. Everyone who listens to this podcast knows my feelings on adults wearing hockey jerseys. Never in my life have I seen so many fucking hockey jerseys on adult human beings at a hockey game. Holy shit. The Prudential Center was literally 70% hockey jerseys.
Red.
Yeah, this is why I hate New Jersey.
It was
Because of the jerseys?
C,
This
Emma.
is why I despise New Jersey. I hate everybody here. Sorry to anyone from New Jersey who's a fan of this podcast, but I'm from New Jersey, so I'm allowed to say this. This is why I despise New Jersey natives in that way.
It was a sea of Devil's red.
Of red. The entire
It was- and, like,
stadium.
Part of me is like, great, good for you, but just these, like, down and dirty New Jersey people wearing all of these hockey jerseys, it was despicable.
I put it on the story while we were there.
Everywhere.
I have a question. If you had a really, really sexy Victoria's Secret model girlfriend and she bought you she bought you a Bruins jersey, a custom Bruins jersey, what would you do?
With like my name and
yeah.
number on the back?
Yeah.
I would shadow box it and frame it in my house.
You would shadow box a jersey with your name and number on the back?
If it was a gift from a loved one,
You would fucking hang a Jerry Bruins jersey with your name on the back.
What if she wanted you to,
no, dude. This is what we always say. It's a gift,
what if
dickhead.
what if she wanted you to wear it?
I would not. I would look her
What
in
if
the
she
eyes.
said I would break up with you if you don't wear that?
I would go like this. Fine. The person I'm meant to be with would know that I would never wear something so embarrassing.
But
You're
I've
not
said,
my person.
and I've already been made fun of on this pod for this, but I said if she buys that and she wants to wear it and wear only that, that it works for me. I know you hate it, and so do you. Pervert. And wear only
Disgusting.
that.
Absolutely
That is weird.
disgusting.
I have no words.
But it was, listen, it was mortifying. That said, let's get into the game.
Well, Dan, I will say this too, though. Obviously, I can hear people already saying, like, yeah, it's 6-1, dude. Like, it's not like the place, this barn's going to be rocking at 6-1 Canes. Early, dude.
you were
1-0.
up- you were
1-0
up
Devils.
1-0.
It was, like, quiet in
It
there.
was quiet. There was zero energy. And then, like, the second it got tied, it was like, oh, well, we're dead. And I was
Would
like,
you say this, though? I'm just thinking about it now. At least when it was 1-0, VTech would make a save, and there were a few like, VTech,
Yep.
VTech. Like, they were pretty fired up about that.
Yeah.
But that's about it. Like,
it wasn't raucous at all, dude. And, like, Jersey people, you're going to hate to hear this. But like we said, we were at the Kings-Oilers Game 6, where the Kings lost. And that place was a zoo. An
bedlam in there,
absolute
dude.
zoo.
Bedlam.
So, I mean,
And I will say
I don't
this,
think
too.
Jersey fans will be happy that they got out-fanned by LA fans, but you did. So
We were Devils.
sorry.
Shout out the
Sorry.
Devils.
Sorry.
Threw us in a suite, great seats. The people in there in the suite with us were fired up. They were like legit Devils fans, fired up, ready to rock. And I really appreciated their fandom. Everyone in there seemed frustrated about VTech too. So that was tough to see. Everyone was calling for Ahsoka early. I'm surprised that the Devils, I mean, dude, you had every chance to jump on this thing, level this baby up, steal all the momentum. Everyone always says, series don't start till someone wins on the road. They were ready to take that one and just keep this thing holding serve. Jack, our boy Jack scores early. And dude, that second period was an unmitigated disaster.
it was awful.
The entire energy in the building, the entire game, the entire series swung in that 20 minutes. Just a staggering result. And one or two of those weren't VTech's fault, but a lot of them were, I felt like.
I thought tons of them were.
And again, he hasn't played good all playoffs.
Dude, listen, man. The Devils in this game looked good for about 10 minutes. They got on the board early. Jack Hughes tip in from Timo Meier. Two of your big boys getting on the board. But, dude, it was downhill immediately after the first goal. The Canes tie it up. Stretch pass from Luke Hughes through the neutral zone. Really, really bad change by him. Turnover from McLeod. Luke is changing. But, like, if you watch the replay, man, and listen, dude, you're getting your sea legs. You're a rookie. Really lazy change from Luke. He's watching the play.
He actually didn't look great in Game 4. I thought he looked great in Game 3, but he didn't look great in Game 4.
Just go ahead and finish my thought before you interrupt me again.
That was helpful.
It's a lazy change from Luke. He kind of lollygags over to the bench. Then when he sees the puck get picked off, McLeod turns it over. He doubles back, but then he's way late. Natchez is by him. Boom, goal. And great finish from Natchez. Don't get me wrong. But from there, it was just awful, awful, awful stuff from the Devils. The second Natchez goal, Palat is helping back on D. Really bad step from him trying to intercept the pass. Player gets behind him. Sloppy help from Dougie Hamilton. He's not getting back to where he needs to be. And for me, that was just a bit of an example of how the game went for the Devils. Horrible coverage all game long. Lazy skates all over the ice. Felt like Carolina was buzzing all over them. And what's nuts, man, is this kind of goes to VTech, to your point about VTech. The Canes are so good. So good. They've been good all season long. They've been good all playoffs long. But what's interesting about this team is they're not beating the shit out of teams. And it seems weird to say that when you look at a scoreline like 6-1, but they're just taking their opportunities.
Yeah.
They find mismatches, they find lazy defense, they find turnovers, and they capitalize. And then they play a very sound 5-on-5 game. They're not grinding you into the boards. They're not out hitting you like crazy.
They're not a power play machine like the Oilers.
Yep, they're not a power play machine. They just find their opportunities and they kill you. And this is an example of death by 1,000 paper cuts with the 6-1 win. And dude, you look at the stats of this game, 26 giveaways by the Devils. Do you have any idea how bad that is?
More giveaways than shots.
It's absolutely insane, dude. 26 giveaways in a game. Obviously, you're losing fucking 6-1. And that is this drunk mentality we keep talking about with this Devils team. They're running around like lunatics, and I love it because sometimes it works. But other times, when you're just firing pucks around, trying to throw stretch passes through the neutral zone through 3 different players, they get picked off, you start turning the puck over, and when you do it against a team that's as good as the Carolina Hurricanes, they're going to make you pay every
the ultimate price.
Single time, the ultimate price, and they did that in this game, and that's why the Hurricanes are so good, and that's why they're going to make it hurt every single time.
It was game 1 all over again for me. 22 shots, 19 shots in game 1, 22 shots in game 4. Absolutely no jump from the squad. Carolina capitalizing on every opportunity. I thought Ahsoka played pretty good. He got cheesed by Martinuk when he came in off that. That was kind of like a dagger goal at the end there. But otherwise, Ahsoka played pretty good. You can't succeed with untrustworthy goalie play, but you need offense too. Luke, I thought you said it. Luke's a -3. Dougie was too, so it's not like it was just Luke, but like Luke's a -3 and like
game.
Looked every bit a -3. The Devils aren't getting enough. Game 3 is kind of like an anomaly because they scored 8 fucking goals. But the Devils aren't getting enough high danger chances for me.
No,
like I watch these games and like obviously they have like 3 goals across the 3 L's, but like even their misses. Like it's not like I'm like, damn, Freddie stood on his fucking head again. I'm just like, they don't get chances. They don't get scary chances. We watched that game, and we were at that game, I should say. Every moment was a Devils save or a Hurricanes goal. Like there was no action on the other end of the ice, and that's not it. I'm shocked. Freddie, Ranta, I think was just still sick. We don't know. Like I was shocked Freddie got the start after like clearly looking tired in game 3. Pre-game skate, and I haven't checked yet because we've been potting. Pre-game skate, Freddie was the guy. So like they might start him again. Ahsoka was the pregame skate starter with fucking Blackwood backing up, by the way. Vitek's not even dressing tonight. If morning skate has it, I know that can change, but crazy turn of events there. But if I'm New Jersey, I'm like, dude, Carolina is tougher than I thought. I said this last episode, like Carolina is sick. But if you're Jersey, you're like, come on. Like we are faster, we have talent. They have Freddie Anderson in that dude. Like 20 shots and 1 goal. Like you cannot win this series that way.
No.
Here's the thing I wanted to bring up to you. We got to sit down with one of my good buddies from home, from college, played hockey with me, Luke Mencken. What up, Mencken? He had an awesome stat for me that I didn't check, that I didn't know. Game 1, Jack Hughes played 20 minutes or whatever. 12 minutes of his entire ice time, Jordan Staal was on the ice too. Game 2, 11 minutes of Jack Hughes' entire ice time, Jordan Staal was on the ice too. Game 3, when Devils had last change, 2 minutes, Jordan Staal was on the ice. And the Devils win. I don't have the Game 4 number, and obviously it didn't work, they lost. But people that don't quite get what home ice does in the NHL, it's that.
Yeah.
Jordan Staal is out there every time Jack Hughes is out there tonight in Carolina. Is Jack Hughes good enough to perform when Jordan Staal's on the ice? Absolutely. He could have fucking 5 points tonight, but I'm just saying it's that much harder.
And don't sleep on how good Jordan Staal is at equalizing players. Jordan Staal has done this his entire career. He did it against the Bruins last year. He's done it every single series of his playoff career. Frankly, he is a phenomenal defensive center, and he will frustrate your best player.
And it's going to come down to what you said last step. Jack, Jordan's going to be on the ice with you 15 minutes tonight. Do you want to be that guy?
Yeah.
Or are you like, I got neutralized by Jordan Staal? And that's no knock on Jordan Staal. He neutralized some of the best players in the league. But do you want to be that guy?
Yeah.
And that's what sucks about that loss last night, because you had the change and you had the matchups you wanted and you got pumped.
Hey, he got scored. He got a goal.
Yeah, he got his. Yeah,
so like,
I had
Jack,
my guy.
Yeah, Jack is that guy.
Yep.
It's everyone else. And I really think that last game was a complete defensive meltdown by the Devils.
It was.
They were puck
They
watching.
looked tired, dude. It was weird.
Puck watching all night long. They looked tired. They didn't look ready at all. The last thing I'll say to close this one out is what you touched on early. It's all about the goalie situation. Lindy Ruff, you are a fucking idiot for starting Vitek. We said 2 episodes ago, we said it last episode, Vitek has looked horrible. Every single game, these playoffs. I don't give a shit about that win. We said it. He got scored on 4 times in very dude, just make a save in an 8-4 win. Go right back to Schmid. It's obvious. And dude, it looks like he's fucking health bombed this game. I'm going to be so annoyed when we hear something, whether it be after winning the Stanley Cup, after winning this round, after losing this round, whatever. When the Devils are done in the playoffs, when we hear, oh, Vitek's been injured all playoffs, I'm going to be so annoyed. But here's the deal, dude. He cannot play.
Yeah, correct.
He simply cannot play. You start Schmid, you live and die by Schmid. If you lose this game tonight and you start Schmid, don't care. Anyone who has a problem with that is a moron, because I'll tell you what, watching that game live, every single time the Carolina Hurricanes got the puck with a scoring opportunity,
They scored.
It was so
it's fucking crazy.
Like the Brett Burns goal was like, oh, the puck came out to the point. And it was like, is this going to go in? And it just went in.
Directly
I'm like,
in.
dude, Vitek, you are Swiss cheese, buddy. And it's like, and everyone knew it. You're in the stands. We were in the box. And everyone was like, get this fucking guy out. And it sucks because he is so awesome. He's such an amazing pro, such an amazing guy by all accounts. Everyone's loved him all season long, and he deserves all of those accolades. But, dude, you are not performing in the playoffs, so get him out. The one guy who's gotten you legitimate wins is sitting right there. Play him. And it looks like they're doing that tonight, and that is the smart decision, and hopefully they get a win because of it.
Who you got tonight?
I'm looking at all of these Devils fans, and
Plug
I
your
feel
ears.
bad saying it.
Plug your ears.
I think I got the Canes.
Really?
Yeah.
It's hard to pick against them at home when they've looked so much better in 3 of the 4 games, and they looked like barely worse in the one Devils win. I know the playoffs are weird because you get momentum and shit. I will say it is fucking mind-blowing that the Islanders could take the Canes to 6 and the Devils could get gentlemen swept. Like, that is literally putting my brain in a bottle with a ship, pasting it to the sails, and fucking flying away into Neverland. That makes no sense to me.
Yep.
But it is hard for me to pick against the Canes. But because I refuse to do that when I am here tonight, come on, boys. Give me Devils in OT. 4-3.
I love that pick. All right, with that, guys, that's it for us today at the Empty Netters Podcast. Thank you so much to the Wicked Wolf Tavern here in Hoboken, New Jersey. This has been an unbelievable time. We're going to say it because we're here in Jersey. Go Devils. Let's keep this series going. Let's keep playoff hockey going. It's been mayhem. It's been nonsense. And it's been fucking electric and fun.
To all of you out there, but especially the Devils in white tonight, skate hard.